Did you tell me earlier, did you say, I asked you, how do you know if you're a good person? And you said a good person is somebody that can buy houses, cars, and get a lot of women. Did you not say that?
A good person is a wholesome person who does the right thing. The same stuff that you have. Has good friends, is good to their family.
Okay, I'm glad you got, cool. I'm glad I got you to come around on that now. So a good person isn't somebody.
On that, that's what I've always believed. And I say that all the time. I talk about God on my stream.
How do you, okay, well, let's do this, okay? How do you have God on your stream while you're talking about so many different women? How is that godlike? How do you expect, let's say that you do that. Let's say somebody gets your lifestyle, okay? And you get your 20 women up to your 25, 26, 27 years old. How are you just going to flip that off and then go and find one woman when that's what you've been putting out in the world?
Because women could fall on, women don't care. You could have 20 women.
You don't think women care? The type of woman that, do you know which type of women don't care? It's the same type of women that you make fun of. It's going to be the Kim Kardashian clones. They're going to be the ones that don't care.
That's not true.
You think you think that you can go from having 20 women through your 20s, and then at 26, 27, you're going to find like a woman that is spiritual, that is looking for the same things in life that you are going to claim?
20 spiritual women.
What does that mean?
20 spiritual women.
How are you going to have 20 spiritual women?
Collect them like Pokemon.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to meme, I mean, at least you admit you're wrong. Okay. Do you want? Okay. I've got two other friends if you want to throw them in here. They're conservative.
Why you think? What's wrong about that?
The problem is that the energy that you're putting out in the world is the male equivalent of an OnlyFans star. You're the male equivalent of a Kim Kardashian. The way that you're selling young men to go after happiness, you're just as much a cog in the capitalist system as anybody.
Listen to Destiny. If you want to improve yourself, if you want to start your own business online, if you want to be independent, you're a Kim Kardashian. Sure. It doesn't really affect my message or what people think. Sure. Okay. We're the male Kardashian. What do you want us to be? You want to cover our face and take? We're gonna have a lockdown for Monkey real soon.
Is that? Do you see how you're defining yourself and myself by like the two most common conspiracies that people talk about? That's like your whole fixation. When I'm going out into the world or when I'm talking to people, I'm trying to think, what makes you a good person? What makes you have virtue? How do you cut like a solid character inside of yourself when you're carving out your virtues, right? I'm not thinking like, do I need another? Should I wear the mask? These are the farthest thoughts in my mind. I'm not obsessing over what the last thing Alex Jones said or what the last TikToker said or what's trending on Twitter, right? There's more to life than that. You have to understand that. If masks are at the forefront of your mind, then the government has poisoned you more than anybody that steps on a bus with a mask on.
You started up the conversation with masks.
And you're the one that's bringing it up now. We're into spirituality, and your spirit is covered with a giant mask that says hustle every day on it.
Yeah, that's what men need to do. Men need to keep providing. That's what makes men happy.
That doesn't make you a provider. How do you think you're going to be able to provide romantically for a woman when you're 28 if you've been sleeping around for your entire 20s? You're not even going to know what a healthy relationship looks like.
Once you a lot of women, you understand how they work and you get better with them.
No, when you a lot of women, you understand how women. That's the only thing you get. You don't know how to love a woman. You don't know how to take care of a woman. In fact, you probably know the opposite if you've been through that many. Yeah. Anybody will tell you that 100%. You think you're telling me, but if you found a woman that had 20 or 30 guys up to when she was 26, you think she'd know how to take care of you?
Nope. It's different for men and women.
Tell me why it's different. Why do you think it's different?
Men can as many women as possible because we can get as many women pregnant. We can get 100 women pregnant today.
Is that your goal? Is your goal to get 100 women pregnant?
I'm explaining my point before you get triggered. A woman can only get pregnant once in a year. That's why women are wired to be with one man. But a man is wired to spread your seed. So you can be with as many women as possible, and it doesn't change how you love a woman.
I would encourage you should talk to women. The kind of women that you want when you're 27, you should start talking to them now because they don't want to touch somebody like you with a 10-foot pole. They would not want anything to do with you. If you go into a church, and you start talking to women in their late 20s and you say, what kind of a man are you looking for? They're not going to say, I want a man who could have and gotten 100 pregnant. That's the kind of man I want to take care of me.
Women don't know what they want from a man. They don't know what to say. They just don't understand men inherently.
And you think you have the answer to that? You think at 23 you figured out what women want?
Yeah.
What's the longest relationship you've been in?
2 years. For a year.
Okay, so you've been in one or maybe two relationships in your life. How do you think you already know what women want?
I've been in many. I've been maybe like 20 relationships.
Not real relationships. You can't have. You're 23. You couldn't have been in.
What do you think a real relationship is? Like watching Netflix every night with your boo bear and like going on a picnic?
A real relationship is dealing with the ups and downs of life with a partner that you're committed to, not somebody that you meet Friday night to.
All right, keep talking.
I don't understand how you think you can live your lifestyle and flip a switch at 27 and all of a sudden be the type of man that you want to be for the type of woman you want to get. You're going to be dating Instagram models and your entire life, or you're going to be like Andrew Tate. You're going to be 38 on a live stream bragging about being able to 18-year-olds, and that's going to be the rest of your life.
Okay, since we're meat watching, that's not the women that I get in relationship with. I get in relationships with like good, like natural women.
No, you won't. Good natural women don't want anything to do with you. You're toxic.
You sound like a bro.
Do you think a good woman's you?
I was another man calling him another man.
Let's look at conservatives. Okay. Do you think if you had a daughter and a guy like you came up to that daughter, would you let your daughter date that guy?
Yeah, I'm a good guy.
A guy that said he's been with 20 women by the time he's 23. A guy that's looking for you. You would let that daughter date that guy. You're lying. You know you're lying.
I have to ask, Sneako, you would give your daughter to a man who has 19 other women?
If he was a good guy, yeah.
Really? No shot. That's the biggest cope. That might be that's the bigger cope than the guy with is going for his 16th one right now. That's the bigger cope. That's a bigger cope than the 82-year-old getting the smallpox vaccine because he thinks he's going to give to the air. That's the biggest cope I've ever heard in my entire life. There's no shot. You wouldn't let your daughter near that guy. Would you let your daughter date somebody like Andrew Tate? If your daughter was 18 and Andrew Tate came up to her and when he's 40 years old, would you let your daughter date that guy? You wouldn't. You're not putting out into the universe the type of energy to get the type of woman that you want when you're in your late 20s.
I'd rather she be with like a strong, independent man than a guy saying that guy's toxic.
Why do you have to be? You're not. What you're talking about isn't it? What you're talking about isn't a
booster shot toxic guy. Like that's toxic. I'd be more afraid of that.
Yeah. That you're back to the masks. You think about masks more than sheep do, more than the government does. You're like so fixated on it. It's not even a mask to you. It's actually a safety blanket. It wouldn't surprise me if you had a weighted blanket made out of like discarded masks. It's like keeping you nice. Just keep me away from the mask, guys. Right?
I wasn't talking about the masks. I was talking about the fact that you just called me toxic, which is some female.
That's not female. I'm saying that if you're going through so many women at such an early age, you're not putting out the right energy into the universe to get the type of woman that you're telling me men should be after, or you should want when you get to your late 20s.
I also have to say, Sneako, most women who are pious and are religious, be it Christian or Islam, aren't interested in being one of 20 or one of 30.
Yeah, absolutely
It's
not.
their conservative values, and it's not the way that they set things up. Do you understand that, or do you not believe that?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? And
That's true.
Also, I know you guys have been going at it for a bit, but when I hear you gloat about Andrew Tate or all these other guys, it's like you go on their Instagrams, you go on what they advertise. What they advertise are the bad. What they advertise are the women with their titties out. What they advertise are the very women that they criticize, or the kind of material wealth that you say is not the most important thing. But it's like their whole pull for young men is these things. Oh, I got all the women. I got all the baddest. I got all the money. I got all this stuff. So when you say, oh, no, that's not what we're selling people on what makes a happy life, I have to look at you sideways because like that's literally what all the red pill guys sell. They have themselves in pictures with hot women and they have themselves with all the material goods in the world. So how are you saying that's not what we're pushing as like the antidote for happiness? I don't understand that.
Instagram, but that's to catch people's attention. But that's overall not the end goal.
No, hold on. You have to understand this, okay? Because I don't know. Okay, hold on. I'm being really mean. I know I'm like bullying you a lot, okay? I don't mean to be that, but you can take it, okay? You can take it. When you go through life acting a certain way, right? You are carving out like pieces of your soul every time you make a decision. Every time you a new woman, every time you somebody over to get a new business, every time you make a new trade on your Robinhood account because all you're doing is trading crypto to get rich. You are trading away pieces of who you are to achieve some goal. By the time you're 27 or 28, there's not going to be any part of you left to go after the lifestyle that you say might be your ultimate goal. You can't say that you have goal A when you spend your entire life getting things from goal B. You can't just switch up in the middle like that. You're not building towards anything. You're going to crash into a wall. By the time you hit 30, you're going to realize you spent your entire life building towards something that you don't even want. And by the time you do go over to the stuff that you do want, the people that are in that area that have been working at it since they're 20, they're not going to want to have anything to do with you. You're going to be 10 years behind every person that you want to associate with.
I don't know why you get so mad about my lifestyle.
I'm not, hold on. I'm not mad about your lifestyle.
If you want to like a nice wholesome relationship with my wife, then go ahead. But I want 10, and I know a lot of people watch my want 10.
There's not enough women in the world for every guy to have 10 girlfriends.
I think it triggers you because.
Why do you keep saying I'm triggered? I'm perfectly fine in my life. I'm not triggered at all right now. If you want to say that I'm triggered, I'm not triggered about your life. What I'm triggered is that you are selling You are selling OnlyFans for men. You are leading people down the same spiritually empty road. It's down the same spiritually empty road that Kim Kardashian is sending women down. That's what you're doing.
Great point. You got him. Okay. I think that the fact that you're getting so triggered about like the alpha male stuff that you see on Instagram and TikTok is because deep down, every man kind of knows that like this is natural, and you've given up on that. You've given up and you've trusted the government. You listen to what you're told. You believe. You say words like toxic for other men. You got programmed. And so I always see it for people like you in the comment section too and in the chat. They're like, what? And it's like the reason you're getting heated and triggered is because I'm tapping into something that's inherent. This is stuff that men. This biological for men. A lot of women taking as much as we possibly can, being the best version of ourselves. That's natural for men. And you hear it, and at some point you gave up on that and decided to believe in the left-leaning and say words like toxic and put on a mask. And then now, when you hear somebody against your whole ideology that might challenge your whole worldview, the fact that you trust the government, you trust the programming, and someone's saying, no, that's you're like, but it's, you know, fine. You can stay programmed. I don't want to listen to them.
What does it mean to you to be an alpha male? What does that mean?
Alpha, that word doesn't really matter to me. But that's
no,
like
hold on. No. Don't run from it. Talk to me about the concept. Because in my mind, well, hold on, in my mind, I have an idea of what an alpha male would look like. I know what that looks like. Okay, so I want you to tell me in your mind what you're selling to your audience. What does an alpha male look like to you?
I don't use that word. I don't like that word.
You literally just use that word. So tell me what. Okay, then let's move away from that. What is a man to you? I'm not. You're the one speaking in caps lock. Okay, I'm not triggered. Tell me what is a man to you? What is a successful man? What is the ideal version of a man to you?
A man that could do whatever he wants to do and doesn't listen to anybody and creates his own world and is the master of his own universe.
Okay, a man that can do whatever he wants to do and doesn't listen to anybody, what you just described is a 17-year-old teenager, okay? That's what you just described there.
Yeah, and then you turn 18 and then you gave up on it and started voting for Biden.
Yeah, I turned 18, I gave up on it because I had to become an actual man, right? A man can't do whatever, hold on, a man can't do whatever he wants to do because if you're a man, no.
Nonsense.
No.
Nonsense.
So, okay, if you're a man, do you get responsibilities? Can you walk away from a house? Can you walk away from a family? Can you walk away from your obligations? Is that what a real man does?
That's not what a real man wants to do.
A real man doesn't want to have any obligations in his life.
No, obligations to other people. You create your, like, the friends and the family you have are stuff that you cultivate.
Sure. So you don't do, so at some point, being a man isn't about doing whatever you want to do. Sometimes it's about doing things you don't want to do. Sometimes it's about upholding obligations or virtues that's all right. Then what you're describing to me.
Do it, don't do it. It's that simple.
What you're describing to me is an unruly teenager. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Just walk away from it. Who cares? That's what you're describing.
And what happens though? Hold on. Let me one more point. Destiny turned 18 and then gave up on his balls. And then you don't even know my background to say that. You have no idea who I am or what I've done or anything. I know who you vote for.
Let's stay out of the personal.
I mean, we can get personal if you want. It's just the worst argument to have. It's just
Sneako, your argument is essentially that basically you can do what you want and that you assume your responsibilities, correct?
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then you're letting go of your boss. Yeah. Do you think that people that, let's say, sacrifice their lives to save their countries or do all this other kind of stuff, where they're assuming responsibilities that may be against what they want, but they're doing it because they understand that their responsibility as a man, their duty is to something higher, and not even themselves, but to something larger? Do you accept that that's probably a higher indication of what a man's supposed to be, rather than being able to do whatever you want?
Well, if that's what he wants to do, if he wants to give up his life for his country, that's what he wants. That's his bigger belief. He's a master of his own universe.
It's not about giving up your life to a country. It's that if you are a man, you understand that you have obligations to your family and to your community that are going to overrule things that you want to do. A man that does whatever he wants to do, that's a weak man's idea of a strong man. It's a guy that walks out on anything, doesn't give a about anybody, and does whatever the wants because he's only in the selfish pursuit of his own happiness. This is a guy that's never going to have a real wife. He's never going to have real friends or family because everybody's going to look at that dude as a teenager that's going to drop everything and quit when life gets too hard.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.